base is under attack.
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you some Guardians gameplay. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on it, as well as some tips on things that I've learned through playing, as well as things I've learned through players that have been playing a lot longer than I have. So Guardians is a FPS slash RTS at the same time. So it's a really weird combination, but I think it kind of works. There are three modes. There is the co-op, the campaign, and the PvP. So we'll talk about the gameplay, like what can you do? So of course you control your character in first person. So you have the guns, you can build units, freaking mechs, freaking tanks. They're awesome. You can make extractors to get minerals. Think like the SCV drone probe if you ever played StarCraft. They're just like kind of these circles that just gain minerals over time. So you can control your units. You can tell them where to go. You can tell them to attack or path, just like you would in any RTS. You have a bunch of different guns. You have machine guns, pistols, rocket launchers, bow and arrow, a sword, a gravity gun. These all work great. I will give you some tips on what I think is the best a little bit later on. You can also make a barrier by holding out your left hand like so. Now you can step out of that barrier. It just kind of makes it right where you are. And it will also hurt the enemies if they're close. I'm trying to not let them get that close, but it's nice to know. It's generally easy to avoid things just by walking around. You can also place buildings. You can upgrade those buildings with either faster fire rate or longer range, things of that nature. You can make mines. There's lots of different strategies you can do. You can even build little walls. But basically, you're going to be using these to fortify your base in campaign and in co-op, which are basically the same missions. They have difficulties from like easy all the way to like pretty dang difficult. But you're going to be two main things. You're going to be either fortifying a base and just protecting it until the waves are cleared, or you're going to be following around a dude, a little, you know, worker who's gathering minerals and protecting him at little nodes until all the waves are cleared and the mission is ended. That's really the only two things you can do, types of missions. Now, they're at different maps, but honestly, those are the only two things that you're really doing. Other than PvP, where you have a base, your opponent has a base, and you have to blow up their kind of command center type of deal. So we're going to discuss some pros and cons here. I think it's a good game. I think it's fun. I love that you can co-op with people. It's very easy to do. If you jump into a campaign, there's a little box that you can click to if you want people to just be able to join or not. I forgot that that was clicked on, and somebody just joined in and started giving me a bunch of tips. It was very helpful. PvP, it works. I didn't have that much fun playing it, to be honest. But it could be both me and my buddy that were playing it were a little clunky. At the end, we were just base racing. I was kind of just wanting it to be over. But there's definitely fun moments to be had.
No! What was that? I can't do it. Get the hell out of here, Drake! Yeah!
Our forces are under attack.
Oh, you so dead, bro.
And I think if you work on the mechanics as a player, if I worked on the mechanics of the game, kind of played smarter, it would have been more fun. So that's really on me. I think it plays perfectly fine, the PvP that is. For a couple of the nitpicky negative things, obviously a lot of the assets of the game are heavily inspired, as you can see, probably as you're seeing some of the gameplay here. There is, when you're doing co-op, there can be some slowdown, especially in the harder difficulties, whenever there's a bunch of stuff coming at you, which there will be a bunch of stuff. I think it's determined on the host. So if the host is kind of far away from you, you can have some lag. It's not unplayable by any means, but it can get nuts. Funny thing I noticed in one of the computer screens downstairs you can go on here, there's a screen that just has all these actor names on it. It's these actors here. Very random. I don't know what that's about. They must just like those actor and actresses. Just thought I'd share that. I don't know why. Now, as far as some tips go, so I was playing with some higher level players, and they were giving me some advice on things that you can do and things that they've learned. They've been playing for a little while. So pro tip, You can dual wield the same gun. You just got to equip it in your inventory at the main menu there, equipment. Honestly, out of all these guns, there's like the gravity gun, there's the bow, the sword, the machine gun, grenades. Out of all these guns, a lot of them are fun, but the machine guns are the best. Dual wielding those, there's no reason not to. I think that's what a lot of the higher ranked players would be doing. The rocket launcher is obviously helpful, but the bow is kind of hard to control. The gravity gun is really funny because you pick them up and throw them in the air. No reason to not use those machine guns because they're so strong. So definitely try that out. Try out the other guns too. I admittedly have not tried the sword, but at the higher difficulties, I just don't see myself wanting to go in there and get slaughtered. While we're talking about those machine guns, one thing I did not know is while you're dual wielding them, or even if you're not, you can put those guns to your waist. When you're hip firing them, you do not have to reload and they don't run out of bullets. So you can just sit there and fire as long as you're hip firing it like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's freaking awesome. I did not know that. That's amazing. And to my knowledge, it's intentional. I don't think it's a bug. I think that's just the way the game is. Of course, it is hard to aim as if you were hip firing, you know, but it's definitely doable. I also have found that just even a couple droids is a little bit more helpful than just like a single mech or a tank because they shoot faster. Yeah, they're a little bit squishier, but if you just put them next to like a cannon or an air like turret, they do fine and they can protect the turret pretty well because they just shoot faster. So you're getting swarmed so much. I think just simply the tank and the mech are too slow and they don't do like any splash damage. So I think if they just added that into the tank or the mech, it would be helpful. Like maybe every second or third shot would splash or something like that. I was finding the droids are just more useful, as well as the turrets. I know they can't follow you, so some of the missions, it's like, why bother making them? You could always recycle them for more currency back, but you can upgrade them, so they become infinitely more useful. So the upgrade I found most useful was the distance one. You can increase how far they can shoot by like 50%. That's huge. The tanks and the mechs, you can't really do that. Last tip for you, there's really two enemies that you really need to be afraid of. All the rest of them aren't that big of a deal. It's the giant scorpion that throws those like big boulder rocks at you, and the explosive little bugs, which I just call banglings because they're banglings. They just don't roll. Okay, so the best way to kill that giant scorpion is you. Okay, all the other things are going to get totally destroyed by it. All your mechs, all your cannons. It will take them out in 1 or 2 hits depending on what it is. So what I find most useful is to kind of distract it away from all of that, so you're not just wasting all your minerals. So jump out in front, like go to the right, jump into the air, and just blast away with your 2 machine guns. Another thing to note that I did not know for a bit was that you can shoot the rocks that it throws. That's also very helpful, but I find just kind of diverting its attention away from your units is the best way to deal with it, and it doesn't take that long to take down. Sometimes at the harder difficulties they're throwing like 3 or 4 of them at you, but you can just use your rocket launch, your jetpack to shoot up in the air. It's really easy to avoid all of that. Now as far as the banglings, you just have to watch out for them. The droids help because they shoot faster, but you are the best solution for that problem as well. So you just have to keep an eye out. Always look at your watch to see where the red dots are coming from, and just you have to make sure to blow those up or you're just gonna totally lose everything. So that's gonna be it for me, guys. I really enjoy the game. I think it's good. It's not something that I'd be playing for months and months and months and months, like maybe something like Population 1 where I just can't get enough of that game. But this is a very good game, especially for 15 bucks. It's not that, you know, I don't mind throwing 15 bucks at some developers that are working hard, make something fun for me and my buddy to play every once in a while, do some co-op missions. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. I do I do a lot of VR videos. I do fighting games and mobile games. So if any of that is of any interest to you, please consider subscribing. God bless you guys, and you have a blessed day, y'all.